Hello everybody, I wanted to touch base here on the meaning of a factor versus a multiple of a certain number. So first of all, a quick definition of a factor would be any two numbers that will multiply to give you a certain product. And by product, we mean the answer to a multiplication problem. So, for instance, I could say, what are the factors of 20? If I'm asking you about the factors of 20, what I'm really asking you is, sorry, I ran out of room, factors of 20, the question that you're thinking to yourself is, what two numbers multiply to 20. Okay? So, can you think of any? I like to start just from the very beginning. Of course, not 0, start at 1. So, we know right away that 1 times 20 does in fact equal 20. Then if I just go to the very next number, 2 times 10 is also equal to 20. 20 does not divide by 3, so that one won't work. However, I can multiply 4 by another number 5, and 4 times 5 does give a product of 20. 6 does not multiply by anything to give us 20, neither does 7, neither does 8, neither does 9, and then we're right back to 10. So what we see here, all of these numbers that we have used, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20, those are all factors of 20. That is because they match or they multiply together to give us 20. So just as a recap, we can come here and look for what are called the factor pairs. So the factor pairs 1 and 20 multiply to give us 20. 2 times 10 gives us 20. 4 times 5 gives us 20. So we have 6 different factors of 20. This list, notice, is finite. And what I mean by finite is there is just a limited amount of factors. The factors don't go on forever. There are only a certain number of them. Now, let's go ahead and compare that with a multiple. A multiple, let's say that once again I want to use multiples of 20. Then what you're doing is you're actually starting with 20, and you are going to multiply 20 by any number that you want. So I'll go ahead and start with 1. The next time I could multiply 20 by 2. The next time I could multiply 20 by 3. And hopefully you see the pattern that I'm establishing here. I'm just going to keep starting with 20, and then I'll just multiply it by the next number in the list of integers. So now here, my answers or the products for all of these multiplication questions will be the multiples. So 20 times 1 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, 20 times 3 is 60, 20 times 4 is 80, 20 times 5 is 100, and then the list will continue, so we could say, and so on. So here I have a list of multiples, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And what I'm hoping you're going to notice is this list will never end, because I could choose 20 and then I could multiply that by 100. It would take me, if I just continued with the list like this, it would take me a while. But I could just check it with a calculator, or if you know the rule with multiplying by 100 with those zeros, 2 times 1 is 2, and then I add 3 zeros to it, so it would be 2,000. 2,000 is also a multiple of 20. So what we just found is that there are an infinite number of multiples and think about to infinity and beyond, infinity means it'll keep going forever. So my multiples were 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. I could continue it to 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. I mean, this list is just going to keep going on forever. So this list of multiples will go on forever. So that's one of the differences that I think is helpful in between factors and multiples. So there's a little snapshot of the difference. Factors are two numbers that multiply to give you that product. And then the multiples are just when you start with any number that you want and then you multiply by any number you desire to give you these final results that are in fact the multiples of 20.